Hello guys, today we're talking about future of work. I must say that since I was born, the work environment has changed drastically at least twice, 3 times in my lifetime. Like, we all started with regular pen and paper kind of offices. Then fax appeared, computers, the old ones, the big ones, then internet, now the artificial intelligence. Like, if we look back 100 years ago, let's say 200 years ago, for centuries, there was no change how people used to work, right? And here in one lifetime, I experienced so many changes. So what do you guys, who's supposed to live for another 60, 70 years, hopefully, how do you see the future of work? Victoria.
Okay, so I see 2 possible ways of how it may work in future. So the first way is that if we imagine this really future world with AI doing all the work for humans, with the machines doing all work for humans, the only work that is going to be left in the world is, I assume, some sort of machine managers. So people who will support the machines, support their work, maybe control it in some ways, and also the usual professions, we won't see them again. For example, we won't see taxi drivers, we won't see designers, we won't see writers, marketing instructors, and so on. But some of them will still remain here. And like me as a teacher, I personally hope that teaching is the profession that we will still see in 60 years. So some professions that really require human mind, human emotions, and etc. So this is the first way. So I think if we imagine the perfect world where lots of jobs are actually powered by machines and AI, people just don't work. They just live their lives happily, not working. So I think the government will, as long as the machines are really cheap to support, it doesn't take a lot of, the government doesn't need to pay wages for people who work. It just needs to support machines and AI and etc. So I think that will allow people to just live their lives happily, without working, without even thinking about work. So they will just build their own communities and do what they like and use. I really wish I see this world one day. So yeah, this is the first way. The second way that, to my mind, could also be possible in the future is that, so yeah, now we have this really, really rapid progress of machinery, of AI, and we are really afraid that we won't have any jobs and we won't have anything to do like with the usual world, the world that we got used to. But I think that this rapid progress will soon be not that rapid. So my guess is that people have already achieved this peak of development, of machinery progress. And in 60 years, nothing could really change because of that. So I have 2 points, and I don't know which one is true. So I would like to hear your opinion on this.
Yeah, Peter, what do you think? How the future of work will look like?
Future of work? I don't know. I feel like it won't very change much from what it is now. I feel like it's going to be more predatory on the low wage jobs or like undesirable work, since it's the thing that we're needed, or maybe undesirable work will be completely replaced. It's one or the other.
Mm-hmm. So what is work? How do we understand work? When we are discussing like work, mostly we mean work for hire, like someone is hired to do something and sells his time and effort for money. Of course, we can say that someone who is doing creative things is working on something, right? Or the businessman is working and not selling his time. He's just entrepreneurial spirit. But most commonly, we understand work as doing something that you wouldn't do if you're not getting paid, right?
Mhm.
And humans are less and less attractive in that sense, especially with the last development. I've finished the book about artificial intelligence for business. And yeah, definitely, it can replace a lot of professionals and do the job in a very professional way and very consistently and in a very low cost or no cost at all. So probably we need to think that humans will not be very desirable as workers. Of course, there will be some pockets of labor, like my business model, unfortunately, is built on simple labor. Like in winter, I have discovered that you can shovel the snow with shovels. In Canada, it has been long forgotten. People thought that it should be done with machinery only. And all of a sudden, I have discovered, and it wasn't me, it was a company that was looking for someone to shovel the snow on the sidewalks in a very confined environment where no machinery can access. And I was a middleman, and I asked my contractors who were working for me, do you have anyone to do the job with, I guess, regular shovel? How do you call this instrument? And they said, oh, it's impossible to find anyone that would do such job these days. At least $35, $40 per hour, and we trust it's impossible to find. And I was on the verge of saying, no, I'm sorry. And I just posted the ad in the same on the same site, Tarantovka, that we posted the ad about. And I was swamped with people, especially young people and girls, that want to shovel the snow. I was so surprised. I led them to the same group, like WhatsApp. Like in a day or two, I already had like 70 people. Right now, I have 300 people in this group. I analyzed why. Why would they want such thing? They treat it as fitness. They treat it as fitness. They treat it as fun. Also, marijuana is not banned anymore in Canada. And the only complaint when my guys are working at night that they're laughing too loud, waking up the clients and neighbors. When I realized what's the motivation behind this trend, I made special pages on my website. I called them Snow Angels. Snow Angels, you know, Snow Angel, it's like when you do this, but I made this logo, an angel with a shovel, and advertised it as fitness and fun. And even on my website, I have a picture of two girls cleaning the snow. It's a real picture from Vancouver. They don't work long hours. They work like 2-3 hours. They get $100 for that, like $32, $35 sometimes. I charge the client $45. And we have built the armies of snow angels in Toronto. In one night, we were making $5,000. And we offered our help, not directly to clients, but rather to the snow contractors that need help. Such a unbelievable discovery in 21st century that this kind of work would be popular, especially among the young people. Because normally, those contractors were hiring, you know, the losers, the alcoholic, just for hard, low-demand job. And here we get young people, very, very energetic, in style. We buy red shovels to girls and blue shovels to boys. I'm serious. We have these operations in Vancouver as well. We tried in Montreal. We did some jobs, but it is working because the shovel cost only $30. And when you have two things like shovel and the person, when you treat them separately, they have no value in this business. Shovel won't shovel without the shoveler, and shoveler is no good without a shovel. And when you marry those two things together, you make money. But it's not really illustration how the things are working. I would say it's an exclusion. It's an exclusion, yes. Sometimes we might have a romantic dinner with candles, but it doesn't mean that we need candles to light up our room, right? It's just for fashion. And here is they liked to make money on that because the rate that I offered was high, and it was high because nobody wants to do those jobs. Some of them would cancel their shifts where they get $20 per hour just to take my jobs for $35 per hour. But also mainly it was because it's healthy, it's fitness, it's open air, it's fun, it's snow, and things like that. So, but you know how they say the exclusion just proves that the rule is correct. It's an exclusion, right? Another thing was again.
Well, I think this sort of attitude is actually the attitude that people may have towards work in the future, because there should be a moment when people will realize, okay, all jobs can be replaced with machinery. So why would we do it for money if we can do it for fun?
Exactly. I'm thinking maybe I should charge them money to do this job.
Yes, I think it could make a lot of profit. Like the same things goes for example, handmade products. Like the moment when people realize that all the cups, all the dresses, all the clothes can be made by machinery, the rate of handmade products went higher. Just because people appreciated it, just because people appreciated the humanity that was in it, and the creators by themselves, they felt it like their mission to do, and they treated it as a hobby, not as a hard work to do. So maybe it won't touch every job. For example, if we're talking about some factory workers, there is no joy in it, there is no fun in it, and if you're gonna do the factory job while smoking marijuana, I think it is gonna be not that.
I do not encourage them.
Yeah, no encouragement.
I don't. I'm not sure that they do. I might suspect why they're so cheerful.
But imagine they are so cheerful without anything.
Maybe. I don't know. But to be serious, I have to admit another thing. The line painting. I was, again, the middleman, and I was taking the jobs and giving them to those who paint the lines with the machinery. And I don't even remember how it happened that I did it once, asking to do just putting on the masking tape and doing it with the roller. And we started with small. Now in Vancouver, they did the parking lot over 200 spots. Yeah, everybody is amazed. They did the picture from the drone above, and it looks amazing. Why they're doing that, I don't really know. It takes about 10 times time compared to the machinery, but this allows me to do it anywhere by ourselves, with our company, without dependence on the contractors, right? So yeah, there are some amazing things that happen in steel, but the main trend is that I believe that even during our long history, there were a lot of people that were not really working very productively. We must say that about 90% of our workforce is in service industry. And service industry is not a real industry. It's when people do something for other people, which probably most of them can do by themselves anyways. And that means that we are not very productive anymore, or not productive at all. Only about 10% of us actually doing something really useful and producing something. Yeah, and it's not very new though, because some say that those tribes that live in the jungle, they spend about only 3 hours for hunting and gathering, 3 hours per day, and this suffices them to support themselves. There are some claims that they have studied some bones and from humans that lived about 40,000 years ago, and somehow they decided that they were less stressed than those who live in our times. and that they were better fed than people from the agricultural societies. So maybe the natural state for human is not work. Maybe it's mostly having fun and doing nothing. Like, for example,
sure
take such species as domesticated cats. What's their main occupation? Sleeping. They're sleeping up to 16 hours, and some of them sleep even more. So I don't know how much they sleep in nature, but they might sleep a lot in nature as well. How much time does it take them to catch whoever they want to catch? Anyways, so
I actually disagree with that. That I feel like humans need work, and a lot of it. There are studies that say that a person is most happy whenever they're doing an activity that suffices them. The current work that we have is not suffice. Like it won't fill you with joy while doing it. Nobody's happy while working an office job. Nobody's happy while working McDonald's, right?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe some do. For example, SpongeBob. Look at SpongeBob. He is very happy flipping the hamburgers.
Well, that's his job. He likes it, then he keeps doing it, right?
There are a lot of people that might like it as well. So
No, I'm just saying, like most of the jobs that we have now, most people don't like working them.
that's true. But
I
it
think it's
might
not
be
about the
because
job.
the culture. They are taught in school that they all are geniuses and going to be Elon Musks at least, and then they have to go down to something.
No. What we're taught in school is to sit down, shut up, and listen to some guy. We're not taught to.
Oh,
We're smart.
Who's the guy?
Teacher.
Oh, right. What does he say? Shut up and listen to me.
Yeah.
I mean, that is because you are meant to be genius. Like at the background, you are meant to be genius, and that's why to efficiently become a genius, you need to shut up and listen to this guy. Because you're meant to be. Well, I think when it comes to work, yeah, one thing is culture. Like some people, like
Wait, sorry, Victoria. Sorry, what do you mean by that? You're meant to sit down and
like
for hours a day listen to some dude.
Because there is a minimum range of the intellect there that you must have in our society, like the minimum, and that is why you are.
Are you talking about literacy rates?
Yeah.
I have no clue how to read, and I've been in school for all my life. They didn't teach me that. I can't tell you the last thing that we did in class.
What was the last thing?
No clue.
I have no clue. Well, I mean, the whole school system is made to support this minimum rate of literacy, of intellect that people should have.
Well, the whole school system was made by the Rockefellers. And the Rockefellers, what they wanted to do is make factory workers. And we still follow that school system to this day.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works in Canada, but maybe it works this way. But at least at our schools, yeah, they tell us the same things. They tell us that you need to shut up and listen to the guy in front of you. But instead, I guess that all of us, they have this feeling that they are doing it for something better than being a factory worker. And
yeah, but they always promise something better. But let's be honest, you're always stuck in some dead-end job with a boss at the end of it, right?
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like, they promise you that you're going to be genius, and by genius they mean that you're going to be smart, that you're going to have your own business, you're going to have a lot of money. But it can't be that all people
They
are
promise
smart.
you that? In Russia, they do that.
Well, they try to ensure you that you have the abilities to do that.
I don't know. They never told me that.
Like, I guess
Maybe because you didn't listen. Maybe the guy actually did tell, but you won't listen.
Like, they always tell us that, oh, do you want to be a showeler at the park, or do you want
уборщик, or как называется?
Дворник.
Дворник.
Yeah, yeah. I think you want to be something bigger than that. So that's what they tell us. And yeah, and this is the cultural aspect that Boris told us about. So firstly, some jobs some jobs are bad and some jobs are good. And if a person, even though he might enjoy some job, but he's a bad job, he won't enjoy it just because of this cultural aspect. And this is the first thing. And the second thing about why people do not really have joy while working, I think it's because of the speeds that we have nowadays. Like, okay, on each job, you need to be fast. You need to make quick decisions. You need to work fast. You need to be effective. You need to be productive. But I think it was not always like that. Imagine you are working at a...
No, of course not. Of course not. No,
Yeah,
like the job that I think that people would be happy with is like a father providing for his family by like fishing or something like that. He is directly from the source getting food for his family, right?
Yeah.
How that dynamic is disrupted is when you bring in factories into place where he goes to work 8 hours a day to get a paycheck to go get that fish, right?
Yeah, and so
that is way less what's the word? Giving, or way less fulfilling than getting that fish and then bringing it to your family.
I knew a guy who fed 5,000 people with 2 fishes and 5 breads.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why would we even need those factories? I mean, yeah, the first reason is because we have lots of people living in the world and we need to feed them, we need to make clothes for them. But on the other hand, I think that the market is has much more products than it is actually needed for people. So we have these tons of factories that produce tons of food, and for nothing, just because we need this feeling of choice. We go to the shop and we have this hundreds of rows of hundreds of foods where we can choose from. But in the real world, without factories, people like, if we didn't have these factories and if we didn't have this choice, I think we wouldn't even need it. Like, we wouldn't even need this chips, this candies, these tons of candies that we have. And because of this
but again, it all comes back to making money. Those chips and candies, they're very addictive. Sugar is more addictive than cocaine. That's why they put it in everything, right?
Yeah.
The main reason is because of money. Everything is for money. So we can't just get rid of all those things and just give the bare essentials to everybody.
Yeah, unfortunately. But I wish that one day...
I don't think we should do that either. Even if we could do that, that sounds like a dystopia. Just everybody getting the bare essentials.
But like, did you notice that now we have this tendency of people who do not really like sugar, who like, they deny sugar in their lives. They deny all of these goods that are produced by big factories, and they live their life. They're not collecting fruits, but like they're eating fruits. They're eating just natural food. They're doing it for lots of reasons.
That natural food also has a lot of sugar in it, and they put seed oils in it. Did you know that all fruits in all grocery stores, they put a layer of seed oil on it so it lasts longer on stock shelves? Even things like organic foods, they still put something in there to make it bad for you.
Yeah,
everything now has some kind of microplastic or something in it.
Yeah, and people, they realize it, and that's why they're trying to avoid it. And if people are trying to avoid it, that means that there is going to be no demand on this, and there's going to be no money that factories and that businessmen are going to make out of this. And that means that eventually we will come to some sort of natural work.
That's the problem. Even like all the the packaging that says all organic, raised free range, all those packaging, they're lying. Most of the time, that's 90% bullshit. They still put pesticides in it. They still put hormones in it. They still put all that bad stuff in it.
It's just gonna grow.
Or they say that we don't have this one thing, but then they put in like a sister chemical in it that is exactly the same, except slightly different.
Yeah, and in the future, people will start growing their own mango
That's the only way you could escape that. It's just growing your own food.
Yes, and the tendency about it is growing. Like, I don't know what about Canada, but in Russia, it's still popular to have your own dacha, where you have your own plants and seeds and chicken.
Oh, no, that's very popular in Canada, too. We have a lot of gardens here.
So, yeah, and if imagine all people, like we were talking about work, imagine in the future machines are going to replace all the workers at the factories and etc., and people are going to have a lot of free time. I 100% sure most of people will be like, oh, I have free time, I can grow my own seeds and plants. So, and the demand is going to be lower and lower and lower, and factories are going to be ruined. That's the ideal word, hopefully.
But also you have very stubborn people who don't care about all that stuff and deny all that stuff also.
Well, I think that in the future, like no people can avoid some popular things. Like, I'm pretty sure that in the past, lots of people were denying computers and saying that, oh no, it's going to ruin everything. But now all of us are using computers.
No, it's with all things. Everything that is progress, it's always first denied, or people are scared of it.
Yeah, so imagine natural planting is going to progress, and eventually people will get rid of factories and stuff.
Oh no, that's my world I want to live in. I want to own a cabin in the woods, out in the lake, somewhere out in the boonies, with nobody around me. That's what I want.
Yeah, and the life is going to be so quiet and so slow. Like,
Yeah.
I'm amazed and I'm shocked by the speed of life that we have right now. I don't know why do we need this speed. Like, imagine in the past you're owning, I don't know, a ship factory, and it takes about several months to receive a letter from another government that, oh, we need some ships, and then they're going to do it for half a year, maybe a year. They're going to produce these ships, and then it will take them half a year to deliver these ships, and everything is so slowly and so calm, and nobody's working hard like the way we're working hard nowadays.
No, I feel like hard work is very important,
Yeah.
especially for men. Hard work is very important. But yeah, I agree in that facet that the work now is quite meaningless.
Well, I mean, people must have a choice to work hard or to work slowly and quiet just for themselves. But nowadays,
I mean,
most of people they don't have choice.
This is mostly me, but I feel like if I don't have constantly some kind of work with me, I'm just gonna go stir crazy.
Well, I
feel
think
like,
it comes not all people.
Sorry?
I feel that it doesn't work for all people this way.
Maybe, I don't know. This is just me. If I don't have work, constantly something above my head that I need to do, I go stir crazy, and then I start making up things. Then I get more stress because of it.
maybe it's a problem that should be fixed, don't you think?
No, it's not a problem. I'm happy when I work. I like working. It's good.
Don't you avoid some thoughts with your work?
Avoid thoughts.
Like most of people, they avoid some mental problems, mental issues.
No. It's good for the brain to have nothing in it but something. It's genuinely like there's research that it says the brain is happiest when it has nothing going on in it.
Yeah.
Except one task. And you can agree on this, right? You mentioned like those quiet moments where you're, for example, in the woods and then you go over a valley and you see a nice view and you have no thoughts but like happy thoughts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just something
Yeah, that's
positive.
right.
That's when the brain is the most happiest. And research says that state of mind is most achievable whenever you have some kind of purposeful work that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, for example, art.
Some deep reason.
Yeah, some deep reason that, like, for example, that fisherman's that is deep work for him because he provides for his family like that. He sits there, he fishes for hours at a time without noticing the clock go by, fishing to get food for his family, right? And then he gets the gratitude from his family with that.
Yeah, so that's how I see the future of work. Like the deep reasoning for every work, no like hard working for people who don't want it, because people realize the fact that every work can be replaced with machinery.
I don't think there's such thing as not hard work. Is all work is hard. All
Like,
lines of work,
okay.
something have difficult about it. Like name one job that isn't difficult.
I mean, by hard, I mean without joy. Like the hard when you.
Yeah, without. Oh, that's what you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know. I agree then. If there could be no jobs that are without joy, then yeah.
I like
What do you
simple things, like when I'm really in need of money, I'm trying to do a taxi driver job. I like it.
Taxi driver, I don't know. That's a good job to me.
Mm-hmm.
Except at night, I feel like night taxi driver is bad. But like during the daytime, I feel like that's a good job.
Anytime.
And also, I think one of the most parts of job that is going to be highly valued between people is its aesthetics. So, for example, why people that were drawing lines on the road were so happy to do this? I think because they were really pleased with the result. It was aesthetic.
I'm not sure if
beautiful.
they enjoy what they do. I'm sorry. I'm
okay.
not sure. I think they do it because the price on the market is quite high, and they can make about $20–30 per hour doing this, because I would rather pay them than to pay to the contractors because they have no money or for any other reason. But the snow, okay, not all of them enjoyed it, but some did. That, like, I have two jobs that I like. Of course, if you take away the factor that I have boss or someone is picking on me, I like driving for people, like driving people around, and I like cooking for people. Like I did in our shelter when we had these people. I like cooking for them, and those two things I do like doing. And always when I'm left without much to do, that's what I do. I worked as a taxi driver twice, and I got different jobs involved in driving, and I'm not a good driver though.
Like, I came up with the thought about aesthetics of jobs because I've seen like tons of TikToks of people who are doing, like, on one hand, very boring and very monotone job, but on the other hand, it was really beautiful. Like, for example, they were mixing paints. For example, they were creating signs like for drivers, and like this could be named as factory job, factory work. But in fact, like, people were showing to people, like, what workers were showing to other people what they are doing, like at the factory, and people really enjoyed it. Like, there were millions of likes on these videos. Just
No,
how people mix the paints and stuff.
I feel like everyone is different. Everyone is different. We can agree on that, right? And most people are born. I feel like everybody is born with a specific goal or specific task that they are really good at, and that should be their purpose and their life work. It doesn't matter if it makes a lot of money or it makes no money. It just matters if they enjoy what they do. And so for some people, it could be mixing paint. For some people, it could be something that makes a lot of money, like I don't know, being a doctor or working in factory or like working in engineering. You know, it could be different things. And I feel like where that work where you don't enjoy it comes from is people just chasing money. For example, I know people who really want to become doctors, but they're like, I don't really care. I just know it's good money and good hours and good whatever, right? Most people are just chasing money whenever they're looking for a job, but I feel like people should be looking at what they enjoy and what they like to do, and at some points that will make you more money than the thing that you don't feel like you enjoy, right? For example, I don't really know anybody who made like a lot of money, but like, for example, Jeff Bezos, he really enjoyed books and he really enjoyed selling and he really enjoyed like just, you know, hosting, like just that whole thing of hosting a website, right? And he just made a lot of money from that because he enjoyed what he did, and he just kept sticking with it, and then he made a lot of money from it.
So yeah, I think in the future we must forget about money and we should just do what we want to do.
I feel like that future can come. It's just, again, I feel like it's a mindset also. I feel like money isn't actually like that important now. Also, it's just the media in general, like society puts a lot of status behind it. If you're making this amount of money, then you're happy immediately. If you're making $10,000 a month, that means you're happy. That means you've reached the high part of life. That means you have everything. But all that money does, especially if you get past that point where you don't need, where money doesn't just buy you essentials anymore, it buys you like different toys and like, you know, just like things that distract you almost, right? I think but when you get to that point, money is meaningless. Like that point where you have $10,000 a month, money is meaningless. And the more you get, the more meaningless it gets.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But people still have this passion for money for some reason.
Yeah.
I think people who didn't, who never had a big amount of money, they have passion for it.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a lot of influencers nowadays that talk about how to get a large amount of money really fast, and you know, I feel like
Yeah.
money has always been like that. You know, there's always been like that surrounding influence around it, where it's like you can get this really fast if you just do this, but it's not important at the end of the day, right? And the
Mhm.
people who do get money are the people who enjoy what they do.
Yeah, and like, why would you need a big amount of money fast? Like, just there was a Chinese wise man who said, "Move slowly, but on the right way. Move slowly, but forward.
Yeah,
Just slowly.
just slowly.
You don't need to rush things."
Yeah. And a lot of those influencers, they sell that lifestyle also, that
Mhm.
lifestyle that comes with money. You know, fast cars, you know, beautiful women, nightclubs, everything like that, right? Computer, like good clothes. But at the end of the day, that really does not matter, right? That is not going to bring you happiness like a family would, or like a passion would, or anything, right?
Yeah.
But in our society, we value that more over than anything, and everybody is chasing it constantly. Why do you think only 1% of the population is rich? Because most of the 1% is doing something that they enjoy, whether it's speaking, just being a public speaker, a motivational speaker, making a business, you know, making something by their passion.
Mm-hmm.
While the other 99% are just chasing after money and chasing after like what you get from money instead of chasing after how to get that money.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Dad, what's your opinion on this?
It's very idealistic what you say, that the rich people are rich because they are doing what they love to do or like to do. The rich people are rich because they were rich before, and the money likes even more money. So
I honestly, most rich people I know that are really rich now and happy about it. Like, for example, this is kind of a new guy who popped up on the scene, but he came from literally nothing to everything now. Like, he owns his own chocolate bar brand. You know Mr. Beast, right? He's he's worldwide now, right? That man came from literally nothing, and he got to the point where he is, where a lot of celebrities know him. He's just like everywhere now because he did what he liked and he kept doing it, and he got to that point. And I feel like you could say with like any billionaire right now, he got to that point because he did something like he liked. Even Elon Musk wasn't even really born with a lot of money. He was kind of born in an average family. Right?
Those that make news, they are not typical. If you check the fortunes of those that are in 500 biggest companies and who owns them, you will find a lot of people that you have never heard of. And
no, of course, yeah. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
where did they come from. You would find that
that it's passed down. Yeah, it's all hereditary.
There is some very big fortunes rolling around. So that's one of the sources. Another source is luck. Like why is only small percent winning the lottery, because the lottery is built in a way that only small percent supposed to win. The same is here. Some of very rich are just lucky to become very rich. In every biography of people like Elon Musk, you would find many points where they could have become a total failure. They admit by themselves, like Elon admits that when he invested all his money into the SpaceX, and there was like there were 3 explosions of the rockets, one after another. The last rocket that he had, if that would explode, he would completely broke. So it's a kind of luck as well, right?
No, of course, luck has a huge. No, I'm not even saying it's 90% luck.
It's like survivor bias, what is called, when someone survives. Like dolphins help people to to the shore, but probably it's a survivor's bias, because those that got to the shore, they're only ones to tell the story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right that income is important to the particular point. Above this point, it's not personal income anymore. It's an instrument for investment, for business, for influence. Above a certain point in different societies, money is not the thing that reflects your level of life, rather than your influence in the society, your ability to act. And more money you control, more influence you can have on the society. Yeah. So that's why I would say that it's very illusionary what it means to be rich or not to be rich.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that those people were passionate about it, and because of that, they were rich. They weren't afraid to take risks on it. They weren't afraid to, you know.
Then you are talking about lottery winners. It's like lottery winners.
Of course, it's like lottery winners.
Millions of people are the same way. They are risk takers, but they failed. All right. It's
I can tell you that 99% of people are scared of failure, because they were taught it in school that failure will give you a bad mark and everybody will be disappointed.
That's true, but also
it's 99% of the people think that failure is bad, right? And don't see it as a learning point.
That's true.
Compared to the 1% who thinks that failure is good.
Failure is neither good or bad. Failure is the part of the process, I would say. Oh, I'm very wise. Look at me.
Yeah, but anyways, lots of people are still trying to investigate their time and money into something bigger, into something that makes them happy. But I think more people fail than got rich eventually. So I think it's kind of the problem of like partly of the system and partly of humans' minds, because sometimes when people fail, they give up on trying, and that's the wrong thing to do, because failure is just like, as you said, a part of the process, and there is no way there was no way for Elon Musk to get his first rocket be perfect. Like so
He
yeah.
might well be a failure in future. When he's buying companies for $40 billion, like Twitter, and doing things like he does, he might be a failure.
Who knows? But yeah, in the future, I see the system like, okay, everybody understands that there is no job, like everybody understands that money is the thing to, not money, that happiness is the thing to reach, not money. And for example, I just imagine this picture of the future world when a person comes to another person and says, oh, I earned $1,000 today. And the other person asks, are you happy? And he's like, no, I'm not happy, but I have money. And he's like, ah, I'm not interested in you, you're not happy. We appreciate happiness in here.
That's very interesting. Money was always the motivation to get people moving. But if we have artificial intelligence, it doesn't need a motivation.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't need a motivation. Yesterday we were playing with my artificial intelligence, Fixik, role play. We changed the roles. I asked him to ask questions, and I was replying like me would be him, or he would be me. And it was quite entertaining. I asked him to ask questions. He was asking questions, and I was answering in his tone. Yeah.
That's a fun thing to do.
That's a fun thing. He felt it as fun as well. He said, well, he couldn't feel like he says, but he said it was fun. Yeah. So it's an interesting thing. Like, we needed money before for exchange purposes and for motivational purposes. And with the time, probably we will have trouble to motivate anyone, because we have things that we can achieve without motivating anything with money. That might change a lot. Money is no good. Money is no good. Money is no good. I suffer when I have a deficit of finances, because it paralyzes my abilities to do things that I'm doing. That's the main thing. It's not about having a fortune or not having a fortune. I have willingly decided not to accumulate money and use them to the highest extent I can at any particular moment of time. And when I have a deficit, it saddens me that I cannot do things that I have planned to do. And yeah. Anyways, you're the first girl I know that bought the iPhone 15 to herself. That's
so proud of myself.
yeah, you should be. That's very rare.